The galaxy was burning. Stars that once shined bright were now hidden behind smoke and fire. Planets screamed in silence as cities fell. Ships drifted broken through space like dead bodies. Everyone knew the truth. The war was being lost. The enemy came from beyond known space. Their fleets were endless. Their weapons cut through shields like air. No race could stand against them. One by one, the strongest empires collapsed. Proud warriors begged for mercy. Advanced worlds went dark. The Galactic Council watched in fear. They sat in a great hall made of light and metal. Leaders from hundreds of species argued. Some shouted. Some cried. Some sat silent, knowing there was no hope. Reports kept arriving. Another fleet destroyed. Another world lost. Another billion lives gone. The council asked the same question again and again. Who could stop this? No one answered. They had tried everything. Massive fleets, secret weapons, ancient technology. Nothing worked. The enemy learned fast. They adapted. They crushed all resistance. Hope faded. Then a small voice spoke. Not loud, not proud, just tired. What about the humans? The room changed. Some laughed. Others looked confused. A few looked angry. Humans were known in the galaxy, but never respected. They were young. Their technology was strange but limited. They had no massive empire, no ancient weapons. Humans were survivors, traders, builders, not conquerors. Why would we ask them? One leader said. Another said, they will die like the rest. But desperation pushed pride aside. A signal was sent. It crossed empty space, past ruined systems, moved through human territory. On Earth, humans received the message. They did not panic. They did not celebrate. They listened. Human leaders gathered in a quiet room. No shouting, no fear. They saw the images. Burning worlds, dying fleets, crying aliens. They understood. This war would reach them soon. One voice asked the question everyone feared. Do we fight? Another answered calmly. We already are. Humans debated, but not long. They knew the enemy. They had watched from far away. They had prepared. A decision was made. A reply was sent back to the Galactic Council. Short, simple. We will help. The council felt relief. Then they asked the question that mattered most. How many ships will you send? They expected a number. Hundreds. Thousands. Everything humanity had. The human reply came. Only one. Silence filled the council hall. Some thought it was a mistake. Some thought it was a joke. Others felt insulted. Only one ship against an enemy that destroyed fleets. Anger exploded. Have humans lost their minds? A leader shouted. This is not a game, another cried. But the human message continued. It is enough. Confusion spread. How could one ship change anything? The enemy was already moving. Their main fleet was approaching the last defensive line. Time was almost gone. The council had no choice. They accepted. Far away in human space, a single warship prepared. It was not the biggest, not the newest, but it was different. Engineers moved with calm focus. Pilots checked systems. No one spoke loudly. They trusted the ship. The ship did not shine with gold. It looked dark, simple, silent. Its weapons were hidden, its power unreadable. When it launched, there was no ceremony. It slipped into space like a shadow. Aliens watched through long-range sensors. Only one signal. Only one ship. Laughter returned. Mixed with fear, the enemy fleet jumped into the system. Thousands of ships, dark and sharp. They saw the human warship. They did not laugh. Something felt wrong. The human ship did not run, did not raise shields, did not fire. It just waited, and the galaxy held its breath. The enemy fleet filled the stars. Ships blocked the light of distant suns. Space felt heavy and cold. The last offensive line stood silent. Aliens watched from hidden stations. Their hands shook. Their hearts felt empty. This was the end. The human warship floated alone, small compared to the enemy, quiet and still. Inside the ship, humans moved with purpose. Faces calm, eyes focused. No fear showed, only patience. Enemy commanders studied the human ship. They scanned it again and again. The readings made no sense. Power levels were low. Weapons were unclear. It looked weak. The enemy decided to test it. A single enemy ship moved forward, its weapons charged. Energy built like a storm. Aliens held their breath. The enemy fired. A beam of pure destruction crossed space. It hit the human warship directly. Light exploded. Space shook. Aliens screamed. Some turned away, unable to watch. But when the light faded, the human ship was still there. No damage. No fire. No movement. The enemy paused. Confusion spread through their ranks. They fired again. Then all at once. Hundreds of beams. Missiles. Energy waves. The human ship disappeared behind fire and light. Seconds passed. Then more. Slowly the smoke cleared. The human ship remained. Unchanged. Now fear entered the enemy fleet. This was not normal. Enemy leaders ordered a full assault. Ships rushed forward, surrounding the human vessel. They attacked from every side. Still the human ship did nothing. Aliens began to question everything. Why was it not fighting? Why was it waiting? Inside the human ship, a quiet voice spoke. Target locked. Another replied. Wait. The enemy closed in. Distance shrank. Weapons charged. Then the human ship moved. Not fast. Not slow. Precise. Space around it twisted. Lights bent. Signals vanished. Enemy ships lost control. Their formations broke. Some collided. Others drifted powerless. Panic spread. The enemy tried to retreat, but space itself refused them. The human ship had changed the battlefield. Aliens watching from afar felt chills. This was not a ship. This was a command. Inside the council hall, leaders stared at the screens. No one spoke. They watched the enemy fleet collapse without a single human shot fired. Systems failed. Engines shut down. Weapons went dark. The human ship floated through the chaos. Calm. Unstoppable. Enemy commanders screamed orders. None worked. Then the human ship finally fired. Not a blast. Not a beam. A pulse. It moved like a wave through space. Where it touched, enemy ships vanished. Not destroyed. Erased. One pulse. Then silence. Half the enemy fleet was gone. The rest froze. Aliens could not believe what they saw. This was what humans had hidden. This was why they sent only one ship. Inside the human vessel, the crew watched quietly. No cheers. No smiles. Just duty. The enemy sent a signal. Fear filled their voices. Ceasefire. We surrender. The human ship did not answer. It moved forward again. The remaining enemy ships broke. Some fled. Some shut down completely. The war that lasted years was ending in minutes. The galaxy watched history change. The council finally understood. Humans were never weak. They were controlled. And when they chose to fight, they ended wars. The human ship stopped near the enemy command vessel. A final message was sent. This war is over. The enemy obeyed. Space fell quiet. For the first time in a long time, the galaxy could breathe. But deep inside every mind, one thought remained. What happens if humans ever send more than one ship? The silence after the battle felt unreal. Wrecks of enemy ships floated without power. The stars slowly returned to view. The human warship remained still. Aliens waited. They expected words, orders, demands. None came. Inside the human ship, the crew watched the sensors. Enemy signals were weak, confused, broken. The enemy had surrendered. But humans did not relax. They never trusted silence. Far away in the council hall, leaders argued again. This time their voices were quiet. They feared the humans more than the enemy now. Were they waiting for? One asked. Another answered with fear. They're checking if the war is truly over. Deep in enemy space, something moved. A hidden signal passed through dark channels. An order older than the war itself. Awaken the reserve. A fleet hidden beyond known routes began to move. Larger than the first. Armed with weapons never seen. The enemy believed humans had shown everything. They were wrong. The human ship detected the movement instantly. Inside the bridge, a red warning appeared. But no panic followed. The captain spoke calmly. There it is. The crew understood. This was the real threat. The first battle was never the war. It was a test. The hidden enemy fleet jumped into the system. Space shook harder than before. Dark shapes emerged like monsters. Aliens screamed again. The council cried out. More ships are coming. They begged humans to retreat, to wait for allies. The human ship did not move back. It moved forward, alone. The new enemy fleet opened fire instantly. Weapons tore through space. Stronger than before. The human ship took the hits. Shields flickered. For the first time, they showed strain. Aliens felt fear return. Inside the human ship, alarms sounded. But the crew stayed calm. Energy reroute. Weapons charge. Core stable. The enemy pushed harder. They believed victory was close. The human ship changed tactics. It dove straight into the enemy formation. Aliens gasped. This was suicide. But space bent again. Enemy sensors failed. Their targeting broke. The human ship vanished, then reappeared behind them. Enemy ships exploded. Not from weapons, but from inside. Systems turned against themselves. Panic consumed the enemy fleet. They had prepared for fleets. Not this. Inside the human ship, the captain watched the chaos. Not enough. A deeper system unlocked. This was the reason humans feared themselves. The ship glowed faintly. Space around it darkened. Even the enemy stopped firing. They felt it. The human ship released something unseen. A field spread outward. Slow. Silent. Enemy ships froze. Time itself seemed to stop around them. Aliens watching could barely breathe. The human ship spoke to the enemy for the first time. Your war ends now. Resistance is meaningless. The enemy tried to respond. Their systems refused. One by one, their ships shut down. Crews trapped. Alive but powerless. The reserve fleet collapsed without firing again. The galaxy realized the truth. This single ship was not built to fight fleets. It was built to end civilizations if needed. Inside, the council hall leaders fell to their knees. They had begged humans to save them. They never asked the cost. The human ship drifted among frozen enemy vessels. No destruction. No revenge. Only control. The captain ordered a final scan. No more threats. The war was truly over. A final message was sent to the council. We are leaving. Do not call us again unless the galaxy faces extinction. The human ship turned away. As it jumped into empty space, every species understood a new rule. Humans were not heroes, not villains. They were the last answer, and the galaxy prayed it would never need that answer again. After the human ship vanished, space felt empty. Enemy vessels remained frozen. Silent shells drifting like ghosts. Aliens slowly emerged from hiding. Rescue ships moved carefully. No one trusted the quiet. Inside, enemy ships' crews were alive. Terrified, unable to move. They waited for death. It never came. The human ship had left them intact. This confused everyone. In the council hall, leaders watched the aftermath. Screens showed endless disabled ships. Entire fleets stopped without damage. No celebration filled the hall. Only fear. What kind of power ends a war and then walks away? One leader whispered, humans could have erased them all. Another replied, they chose not to. This choice scared them more than destruction. Across the galaxy, messages spread. Humans ended the war. Humans used one ship. Humans left. Worlds that prepared for evacuation stopped. Factories powered down weapons. Children returned to the skies. Peace felt strange, but fear stayed. Many asked the same question. Why did humans not finish the enemy? Far away, survivors of the enemy gathered. Their command was broken. Their leaders gone. They were alive because humans allowed it. Shame burned inside them. Their ancient belief of dominance shattered. Their legends were lies. Some wanted revenge. Others begged for surrender. They sent a message to the council, requesting protection. The council hesitated. How do you protect someone from humans? Weeks passed. The galaxy tried to return to normal, but nothing was normal anymore. Trade routes changed. Military doctrines were rewritten. New laws were drafted. A new truth shaped every decision. Humans were the final weapon. Some species began worshiping humanity. Others feared them. A few planned secretly. Humans remained silent. They did not demand tribute. They did not join the council. They watched. On Earth, life continued. Cities lived. People worked. Children played. To most humans, the war was distant. Another event beyond the stars. But those who crewed the ship remembered. They carried weight in their eyes. Inside a quiet room, a human leader met the crew. No applause. No medals. Only thanks. The captain spoke softly. The galaxy will fear us now. The leader replied. They always should have. Far away, something changed. Deep beyond known space, an ancient signal woke. Older than the enemy. Older than human history. It had watched the war. It had seen the human ship. It began to move. This presence was patient. It did not rush. It learned. It sent probes. Studied the frozen enemy fleets. The disabled systems. It understood the pattern. This was not raw power. This was control. The ancient presence feared one thing. Losing control. It changed its plans. The galaxy did not know. But the war had only ended on the surface. Below the calm, a greater storm formed. In the council hall, a censor officer froze. A strange reading appeared, then vanished. No one noticed, except one human observer stationed quietly. Sent as a gesture of trust. They saw the anomaly. They said nothing. Humans always noticed first. Days later, small incidents began. Ships losing power for seconds. Communications fading briefly. No damage. No cause. Fear crept back. Some leaders demanded humans return. To guard the galaxy. Humans refused. Learn to stand without us. The council argued. Voices rose again. History repeated. Then a message arrived. Unknown origin. Single line. We have seen what you hide. Panic exploded. Humans reacted instantly. The captain of the one ship was summoned again. The galaxy had called them once. They had warned never again. This time the call came with fear deeper than before. Humans listened. Their faces hardened. The captain spoke one sentence. That thing is older than fear. We will go, but not to fight, to decide. The room went silent. No one asked what that meant, because some answers are worse than war. And far away in the dark, the ancient presence waited, curious. For the first time in its endless life, something had scared it. The human ship returned to motion. Its jump was silent. No light, no signal. The galaxy felt it leave. Even without seeing it, the council waited in fear. They did not know where the humans were going, or what they would face. Deep beyond known space, the ancient presence watched. It had many names before names existed. It had guided wars, ended empires, reshaped stars. It believed itself untouchable until the human ship arrived. Not with noise, not with weapons, but with awareness. The ancient presence sensed something different. This ship did not challenge. It observed. That was new. The human ship slowed near a region of twisted space, where laws bent, where time felt heavy. Inside the ship, the crew felt pressure. Memories surfaced. Fears whispered. The ship shielded them. The captain stood still, hands steady. They knew this place was not built to destroy ships. It was built to break minds. The ancient presence spoke, not in sound, but in thought. You are small. You are late. You should not be here. The crew felt the weight of those words. Some staggered. Some closed their eyes. The captain answered, "We are exactly where we need to be." The presence reacted with curiosity, not anger. It had ended countless wars by guiding enemies into each other. It fed on conflict, on fear, on control. Humans did not fit. You ended the war too quickly. The presence said. The captain replied calmly, "Wars are wasteful." This confused the presence. It asked why humans had not destroyed the enemy, why they left fleets alive. The captain answered, "Because fear lasts longer than death." The presence paused. It had never considered restraint as power. It pushed harder, testing the ship, pressing into its systems. The ship held. Humans did not fight back. They endured. This endurance unsettled the presence. It showed the captain visions. Galaxies burning. Species erased. "This will happen again," it said. The captain replied, "Not if you stop." Silence followed. The presence laughed inside their minds. I do not stop. I guide. The captain took a breath. Then you'll be guided. The human ship activated something new. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A mirror. The presence felt itself reflected. Its own patterns. Its loops. Its hunger for control. For the first time it saw itself. It recoiled. What is this? It demanded. The captain answered. Understanding. The presence struggled. It tried to flee, to hide in deeper layers of space. The human ship followed effortlessly. It was not chasing. It was closing paths. The presence realized the truth. Humans were not reacting to the galaxy. They were correcting it. This ship was not built for war. It was built for judgment. The presence asked the question it feared. What do you want? The captain answered simply. Balance. The presence had never heard that word used against it. It offered a bargain. Power. Knowledge. Control over stars. The captain refused. Humans had learned that control destroys meaning. The presence weakened. Not from attack, but from loss of purpose. If I stop, the presence asked, what becomes of me? The captain paused. You will watch. You will learn. Or you will fade. Choice is yours. The presence felt something new. Choice. It had always believed others needed guidance. Never itself. Slowly it withdrew. Its influence loosening. Its signals fading. Across the galaxy, strange effects stopped. Ships stabilized. Communications cleared. The council felt the shift without knowing why. The human ship remained until silence was complete. Then it turned back. On the return journey, no one spoke. They all knew. They had not won a battle. They had changed a rule older than the galaxy. When the ship emerged near human space, a message arrived from the council. Thank you. The captain did not respond. Because humans did not act for thanks. They acted so the galaxy could choose its own future. But far away in the deep dark, the presence watched quietly, learning, waiting, and for the first time, it did not plan. The galaxy woke to a quiet morning. No alarms, no warnings, no fear in the air. For the first time in many cycles, space felt still. The council hall filled slowly. Leaders arrived without panic, without guards gripping weapons. They waited. A human envoy appeared on the central screen. Not the captain, not a soldier, just a human. They spoke calmly. The danger has passed. No cheers followed, only relief. The envoy continued. The galaxy is free to choose its path again. Questions rushed forward, but the human raised one hand. There will be no protection, no rule, no control. Learn for what happened. The screen went dark. Silence followed. The council understood something painful. Safety had always been an illusion. Across the galaxy, monuments were raised, not to victory, but to survival. Some carved the shape of a single ship. Others wrote warnings. Do not wake sleeping strength. On Earth, the crew returned quietly. No crowds, no praise. They walked streets where no one knew their names. This was how humans preferred it. The captain stood alone one night, looking at the stars. They were beautiful again, but heavier. The ship rested in a hidden dock, its systems powered down, its core sleeping. Humans did not dismantle it. They never destroyed tools. They understood. Tools reflect the hands that use them. Years passed. The galaxy changed. Alliances grew slowly, not from fear, but understanding. Wars still happened, but they were smaller, shorter. Every leader remembered what one ship had done and what it had chosen not to do. Far beyond known space, the ancient presence watched. It no longer guided wars. It no longer whispered into minds. It observed. It learned patience. It learned restraint, something it had never known. Sometimes it wondered about humans, why they feared power, why they chose limits. It searched its endless memory and found no answer. One day, it sent a message, not to the council, not to a fleet, to the human ship. A single question: why did you spare me? The reply came slowly: because fear teaches nothing. Choice does. The presence absorbed the words. It did not respond. It did not need to. In the galaxy, children grew up hearing stories about the war, about the begging, about the one ship. Some thought it was myth. Others felt pride, but all learned the lesson. Strength does not shout. It waits. Far in the future, a young species would rise. Curious, ambitious. They would find old records. They would laugh. Only one ship. They would think humans weak. And somewhere on Earth, a quiet alarm would light up. Not loud, not urgent, just enough. Because humans never rushed to war. They prepared, and the galaxy would remember again. Not because humans demanded it, but because once, when everything was lost, humans answered, with restraint, with judgment, with choice. And that was enough.